is groundbreaking, and it's a positive step.
How their new co-responder program will connect people with the mental health care they need.
And if you've been asking where's the money, your tax return might give you a break.
What's changing this season that could put a little more cash in your pocket? Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, 6:55 right now. Still watching for slick and icy spots across our mountain counties all throughout the day today. Meanwhile, this is I-77 near mile marker 90 near Carowinds. You can see those inbound lanes starting to get quite busy as well. Now, I'm following all these accidents for you on WCNC Plus, but here's one thing you need to know before you go. This is a wreck that does have some delays. It's on Albemarle Road inbound at Sharon Amity Road. We are seeing those backups to Central Ave. Chris?
Okay, this is the bottom, y'all. We have the upper 40s, the coldest morning by far. The only other time that we're going to be even close to freezing is going to be next Tuesday. But check it out. We have the lower to the mid 60s. Better chance for rain Thursday night heading into Friday. And then after that, really one of the best weekends we've had in quite some time. The 60s, even the 70s before an eventual cool down. I'll show you that real quick. We have the 50s, but they're short-lived, right back to the mid 60s pretty quickly.
Not too shabby.
We'll take that, Chris.
All right, time now for a morning boost before we leave you. Meet Bjorn Bowler from Berlin, Germany. He is the Panthers' new International Fan of the Year. How about that?
Nice.
Okay.
He'll represent the team at the 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. His love for the Panthers started with stars like Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, and now he's a sports teacher there in Germany, introducing kids to flag football, and says every student at his school knows the Carolina Panthers.
Of course they do.
How about that? He calls Bank of America Stadium his happy place and says this honor is something he'll remember for life.
And look at his dog. How cute the dog is, right?
That's right.
We like him.
I love it. I love it.
All right, folks, have a great Tuesday. Make sure you join us streaming live on WCNC Plus.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start things off with a check of your forecast. It's another cold start to the day, but things are going to be improving. That's the great part.
Yeah, I'm really excited that we're getting back to the 60s as early as that's tomorrow. But we actually ended our stream on WCNC Charlotte with this. This is the Maggie Valley right around Cataloochee Mountain. Boy, is this gorgeous. You can see those pinks starting to illuminate the mountains over here. And it was mainly the mountain from the Maggie Valley up through Boone into Jefferson that we saw a majority of our snowfall over the last 24 hours. And meanwhile, we're starting off sunshine right here in Rock Hill. That's what you're looking in the distance there. 25 degrees for a start in Charlotte is 21 degrees for you in York County, 23 over in Hickory, and then the teens from Morganton up into the mountains. Right now, we are dealing with a few flurries that are still lingering from this storm system. Saw nothing over in the Maggie Valley further off towards the west. And our futurecast snowfall, not too much. That's not going to really happen here. It's more so tomorrow morning that we're going to have another surge upwards to about an inch. I think you could have anywhere from 2 to 4 inches up in the high country, say the tops of Sugar Mountain, Beach Mountain, you know, the ones that are above 4,500 feet. And then Boone and localized areas could be impacting your back to school for your Wednesday morning. So here's what that snow looks like. For one, whenever you have temperatures close to freezing, it's a wet snow. So that wet snow, that's the back-breaking one trying to get out of here. So it will be wet, borderline slushy, but the ground is still so cold. So I think there's going to be a lot of flash freezing with this, even if they treat some of the roads. And then eventually we get back above freezing by the middle of the morning. So it's almost falling as more of a white rain and then transitioning to all rain, and then we're eventually out of here. Meanwhile, we start off cloudy here in the Charlotte area, and then the wind shift out of the southwest. We're even starting to see that today. That's where we get back into the 60s. So today does not belong to the rest of the days temperature-wise until we're really heading into next week that we're back into the 50s, the 60s, mid-60s even on Thursday, and Thursday's the big question mark. This has been the craziest stat that I've given over the last couple of weeks, that looking at all the measurable rainfall, for one crazy stat, we've only done it 11 times that we've had over this number, 1/100th of an inch. That was 3 times on a Friday, 3 times on a Saturday, and 5 times on a Sunday. Well, Thursday might have its first rainfall. Wow, what do you know? And it could jog into your Friday as well. So maybe another notch in the belt for the Friday measurable rainfall. Here's a look at how much rain could fall. I'm going to get the numbers out of here because I really want to focus in on the colors. The colors right here are showing anywhere from up to about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Meanwhile, the further south that you go, a lot of these values are around an inch or less. Then, meanwhile, over in Tennessee, western side of Virginia, Kentucky, seeing some totals up to 3 to 5 inches. So it depends where you're going to be. There's still a lot of question marks that have come out of this system. So our first signs, one thing that we do know, it does look like we have our first signs of rain in the morning, but what's trending is it moves to the north, but we could see the final passage of this system bring the most rain overnight Thursday heading into Friday. So there's still some hope. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, low to the mid-60s starting tomorrow. Mid-60s with more sunshine and no rain chances for your Saturday. My pick of the week right now on that 7-day looks to be Sunday. Temperatures in the lower to even the mid-70s before we see another tumble back to the 50s to start off next week. All right, our very first check of traffic here on WCNC Plus, and here's what's going on.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Well, it's really a tale of 2 different drives. We have nice, dry area of roadways in and around the city, and then as we're looking up towards the mountain still, we're seeing snow-covered, icy conditions. You can hardly see those roads there. We've seen a couple of plows come through, but that's really going to be the biggest problem as we're taking a look at traffic this morning, where you do need to really make sure you're driving for the conditions, slowing it down, make sure you're allowing for plenty of time to get to where you need to be. Meanwhile, you might want to add on a few extra minutes to your morning commute here. This is going to be I-77 out near Carowin, just that slow roll as people are making their way inbound. Several accidents popping up. One of the newer ones right here is north of Uptown. We're starting to see some delays build. It's on Sunset Road eastbound at I-77. Just to the south, this one right here in the heart of Uptown, really. It's on South Mint Street at West Moorhead Street. Seeing some yellow develop there, meaning that cars are just moving a little slowly. And then the third thing to know is this here. It's going to be right on Kings Drive at Brunswick Ave. We'll have another check on those roads coming up soon.
A powerful winter storm hitting the Northeast, and flights across the country are feeling the impact. Take a look here at things at Charlotte Douglas. Right now, 50 cancellations and about 8 delays. That number likely to grow throughout the day. But take a look at what it was yesterday, 160 cancellations and almost just as many delays.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live from the airport this morning with how travelers can prepare despite this uncertainty. We know a lot of this stems from those storms up in the Northeast.
That's absolutely correct, Lisa. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. Good Tuesday morning to folks watching us on the Plus. Normally on a Tuesday, the airports are empty. That's a good day to travel, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if you're planning to make a trip. But a lot of folks are not out at the airports today because they have some issues. Now, those issues are stemming from, as we take a look at the big board, Northeast. You can see in Boston and down here in the New York area, LaGuardia, Newark Airport in New Jersey. Also, those airports are having issues because of that storm that is pelting the area, putting it under feet of snow. Now, the basics are that winter storm in the Northeast has caused major headaches for air travelers across the region. Heavy snow and high winds have enforced thousands of flight delays as well as cancellations. So far, like places like hubs like New York, Boston, and also Philadelphia have had a lot of traffic so far, and that disruption is rippling through the national network. Where there have been cancellations, more than 150 flights here at Charlotte Douglas, and delays also through the area. All of this has left passengers scrambling, some of them actually stranded, and some of these passengers said they don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to get to their final destinations.
We're just in the airport. We don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, so that is the situation. So the best advice I can tell anyone is to plan ahead, travel ahead. Like Cassie, who doesn't want to talk to us this morning. Hey, good morning. She's celebrating her 13th birthday. They're on their way to Detroit. Mom didn't know if they were having issues there, but they should be okay going to Detroit. They should be all right going to Detroit. And then, where are you going, Cassie, eventually? Where are you flying to? Where are you ending up at? They're going to Japan. Nice 13th birthday. Mom is taking them and son to Japan. Happy birthday from WCNC. And folks, if you have to travel, call ahead, plan ahead, check out the mobile app. We're right here at Charlotte Douglas. We'll send it back to you.
Can I be Cassie? That's what I want to know.
Seriously?
Goodness, wow. All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us.
Yeah.
Richard, thank you, sir. 7:07 right now on WCNC Plus. Now to a developing story in Stanley County where the North Carolina SBI is investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting. The Bureau says a deputy killed one person during the incident Monday, but did not release their identity. The SBI tells us they could not share more this early in the investigation. We've also reached out to the sheriff to get more information. We'll let you know when we hear something. Right now, 2 men have been arrested and charged in connection to this December shooting in Monroe. 18-year-old Amari Bowman and 19-year-old Bryce Covington charged with firing into that home. Detectives say the suspects opened fire from the baseball fields at Sunset Park, hitting the home at least 10 times with several people, including kids, inside. Thankfully, nobody was hurt.
Today, 2 teens involved in a Rock Hill homicide will face a judge. Rock Hill police say last Friday, 18-year-old Xavier Heath and a 16-year-old girl were trying to rob a 15-year-old at gunpoint at a parking deck near the intersection of Main Street and Dave Lyle Boulevard. Police say during that robbery, the 15-year-old shot and killed Heath. The 16-year-old faces charges of armed robbery and murder for her role that led to Heath's death. That 15-year-old is facing a firearm charge. Both teens are expected in court today. Cornelius is taking a new approach to policing and adding more support to some of its most sensitive 911 calls. It's all thanks to the town's new co-responder program that connects people with mental health care faster.
So instead of just seeing those lights and hearing the sirens, calls involving mental health, substance abuse, and homelessness in Cornelius will now bring a mental health expert as well. The chief says the program's been years in the making and will help improve the response for everybody.
We know that mental health, like so many other things, knows no boundaries. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter your level of education, you know, any of that. You know, you can easily have some type of underlying mental health type problem.
The clinician is trained in both law enforcement and mental health. A clinician on board adds another level of care for officers. It also means less time tied up in paperwork. Right now, 3 folks recovering after a plane crash at the Monroe Airport. A plane coming in from Wilmington overturned near the runway Monday. All 3 people on the plane were taken to the nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The FAA working to determine what caused the crash.
The death of an Eden dump truck driver accused of killing 4 linemen in a crash last year is leaving many wondering what's next. Michael Vernon died Sunday at a prison hospital in Raleigh. Investigators say the City of Eden employee ran a stop sign and hit linemen working in Carroll Street. Vernon was facing several charges, including second-degree murder. Now, while his death ends the criminal case, it also means the families impacted may never get the closure they want. However, civil lawsuits could still be filed against Vernon's estate. That crash also prompted state workplace safety violations against the City of Eden. The city was fined more than $145,000.
Today, you'll have the chance to speak with Charlotte's new police chief, Estella Patterson, and leaders from the Northwest Service area. The meeting runs from 6 to 7:30 at the Park Church. That's over on Beatties Ford Road. Organizers say it's your opportunity to speak up about some of the concerns you have, learn about resources you have, and hear directly from the team protecting your neighborhood. The North Carolina primary now a week away, and plenty of folks taking advantage of early voting. Governor Josh Stein's ballot now in after voting in Raleigh Monday. In a post, the governor said, quote, "Voting is the fundamental right that underpins all other rights in our democracy." Early voting for the March 3rd primary ends this Saturday.
Mexico on edge after the killing of a cartel leader. The violent fallout that continues. That's next. .13 now. New questions are arising in the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Sources tell NBC News one of the images posted by FBI Director Kash Patel may have been taken on a different date than he suggested. Patel shared this footage on his X account, showing a person in dark clothing, a mask, and gloves outside Guthrie's home. Law enforcement sources say at least one image showing the person without a backpack appears to have been recorded earlier than the others. Officials caution those doorbell images have no visible timestamps and say the case remains active as investigators rely only on verified evidence.
Nick Reiner appeared in an LA courtroom on charges of first-degree murder in the December 2025 deaths of his parents, pleading not guilty. The charges include special circumstances allegation of multiple murders and additional allegation that Reiner used a knife in the killings. The charges carry the potential for a possible death sentence if prosecutors pursue capital punishment. Mexico on edge this morning following the government operation that killed the cartel kingpin known as El Mencho. The cartel's reaction to the kill turned the streets of various towns into what looks like war zones.
Much of the unrest was in tourist hotspots. Now, amid that violence, the U.S. State Department urged American citizens to shelter in place. Reed Binion reports.
We're just going to be patient and support each other and just try to get out of here as soon as we can.
Tourists, including American citizens, stranded in Mexico amid widespread unrest and violence, triggered by the killing of Mexico's most wanted cartel boss.
We were like about an hour from going to the airport. The team here at the hotel was like, hey, you don't want to go right now.
Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes was the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generation Cartel, a major trafficker of drugs into the U.S. Oseguera, better known as El Mencho, was killed Sunday along with other cartel members in a Mexican military operation, aided by U.S. intelligence. His killing triggered a series of violent incidents.
It really did look and feel like a war zone, that feeling of what does happen next or what could happen next.
Suspected organized crime group members setting buses on fire, blocking off roads and clashing with authorities.
Yesterday was definitely scary. It's like scenes out of a movie.
Several air carriers suspended flights to and from affected cities. Some of those routes continue to be disrupted, while flights to and from other cities are set to resume Tuesday. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department urged American nationals to continue sheltering in place in certain areas as other parts of the country return to normal. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
There has been another deadly strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean. The attack killed 3 people on that boat. Officials say a designated terrorist group operated the vessel, and intelligence confirmed that boat was moving along a known drug trafficking route. This is the 7th vessel the military has hit this year. The ongoing campaign, called Operation Southern Spear, has now killed more than 150 people, dating back to last year.
We're celebrating an icon today and revisiting the innovations that help shape our daily lives. That's coming up after the break.
Just wow. looking all over the place. We're starting here in Washington, D.C. Here's some snow at a mall, and it looks like the U.S. Capitol was completely dumped on as far as snow goes, but not as much as some of our friends off towards the north and east. So Washington, D.C. saw a decent amount of snow. The winds were still ripping, but it was nothing like what we saw in Rhode Island, where we had some totals over 30 inches of snow, eastern Long Island as well, but still a really pretty patriotic look here. Here is a look at that historic nor'easter. So this is going into the history books here for New England as one of the worst since the blizzard of '78. And if you are from this area, you know anyone from this area, guarantee you've heard about the blizzard of '78. My mom would talk about it all the time. Well, this one had a lot of historic similarities. The blizzard of '78 had wind gusts that were up to 111 miles per hour in Situate, Massachusetts. Well, we had wind gusts that were close to 100 that were recorded on some of the buoys surrounding the areas here. Now, that system is now past and gone. Literally, it's now over here in Halifax, moving past Nova Scotia. And we'll have some snow that's mainly going to be coming off of Lake Erie over the coming days. There will be a chance for another second coming of snow over the next few days. But check out these snow totals. This is just crazy. I don't know what we would do if we ever saw this amount, and we never have and probably never will. 35 inches is the biggest total that I saw, and I think some more is going to start to iron out close to about 36. TF Green Airport in Rhode Island, that's the one that you usually take if you're flying into Providence. That's over 32 inches of snow. But the crazy thing is the main forecast is calling for about 1 to 2 feet. Well, this little corridor right here, mainly in Rhode Island, exceeded expectations more of 2 to 3 feet of snow. Just incredible. Meanwhile, the winds were also gusting yesterday up to about 61 miles per hour. This was yesterday. And then we had right around the Cape and the Islands gusts anywhere from 70 to 75 miles per hour, which is right around hurricane strength. The next system is going to move through. We'll bring some snow really for Wednesday up in New England and New York. Meanwhile, for us, this is going to be our next wet weather system. The big question mark that we're seeing here is, number one, where does this stationary front stall out for your Thursday? And two, how prevalent is the second rain behind this going to look heading into Friday morning? That there are some indications that we're not going to have as much rain, but then I've also seen a scenario that we see less rain to the south at first, and then eventually we make up for lost time on the back end of this system. But regardless, somebody's going to see about 1 to 2 inches from the system, which could be definitely helpful for our drought status. Our rain chances after that, a whole lot of nothing. We desperately need the rain, but it's not coming fast enough. Likely going to see rain for your Thursday and Thursday night. After that, I think we have some isolated rain showers for your Friday. That's mainly for the afternoon. Friday morning, I think it is going to be a soaker the way things are trending overall. So just keep that in mind. So here's our first look at our futurecast that does a really good job about picking up on the most recent elements, what's happening now, and then putting it into the forecast model. So it's showing, one, we have snow in the mountains tomorrow that we could see up to 1 inch, more so maybe 2 to 4 for the mountaintops. Yet again, along the Tennessee border, the closer you get to it, that's usually where you have the heavier snow in systems like this. And then the back side of this sees our first chance for rain in Charlotte early morning on Thursday. It spreads across the area, it lifts to the north, and then eventually the backside of this system will start to move through. Notice that heavy rain that you're seeing over in Tennessee, that'll move through overnight into Friday morning. So that's definitely the weather highlighter of the week so far. Let's get right over to Majestic to see how things are faring 20 minutes after last time we talked about traffic.
Well, it's still busy, that's for sure. We haven't seen a whole lot of changes, which I guess is kind of good. This is I-85 here near Hickory Grove. Cars are moving and it is getting busy again, getting close to 7:30 at this point. Still, this crash is not cleared. It's going to be Sunset Road eastbound at I-77. Orange there, meaning that cars are moving rather slowly. Just to the south of it, you can see South Main Street and West Moorhead Street. Accident happened about 15-20 minutes ago and still not cleared. I am seeing delays coming in all directions with that one. And then this one here, Albemarle Road inbound lanes at Sharon Amity Road. It is still backed up to around Central Ave, so slow moving conditions there. Harris Boulevard, if you take that for your morning commute, currently there's a crash there at Meadowdale Lane. Those are a few things that I'm watching for you. We'll have another check on those roads coming up soon.
7:24 now. Today marks what would have been the 71st birthday of the visionary entrepreneur who reshaped modern technology. We're talking about Steve Jobs. As the co-founder of Apple, he helped create the Mac, the iPod, the iPhone, iPad, devices that forever changed how the world communicates. Jobs was known for blending technology with design, pushing for products that were not only powerful, but simple. Today, his legacy lives on in the tools that most of us use every day and the ideas that continue to shape the future.
7:24 right now as we take a live look over Uptown as the sun comes up. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Another check of your morning commute and weather impact forecast.
It is cold outside. Upper level clouds joining us over here in Concord, and then our sky's going to look more like that a little bit later on as well. 15 degrees right now over in the mountains, and then meanwhile we have temperatures right around 25 here in the Queen City. Yikes. Luckily the winds have simmered down a little bit. Still going to have some on and off wind chills, making it feel at least 5 degrees colder for the afternoon, increasing the clouds by day's end, so it should be a much cloudier end to the day. Highs in the mid to the upper 40s. Our rainfall chances, the next one that we really see Thursday night heading into Friday morning, then we should have a nice dry weekend. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast is looking good. This is the bottom. This is the coldest morning, the coldest day over the next 7. Then we're back to the 60s, even 73 degrees on Sunday. So something to look forward to. A great weekend ahead. All right, Majestic, what are the problems this morning?
Let's get to a good morning, everyone. Really, this is going to be our biggest watch spot when it comes to trouble spots out on those roads. Really up in the mountains. Look at all that snow and little ice that you'll need to be careful as you are driving this morning. Make sure you allow for plenty of drive time if you do have some place to be. Otherwise, it's a whole different story. A little closer to Charlotte, nice dry area roadways, off to a pretty start to the day, but it is busy there. One accident to let you know about currently, just now following this one. It's going to be right north of Uptown on 5th Street. We'll have more coming up.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. If you're headed out the door, make sure to grab a heavy coat. Temperatures right now in the mid-20s, Chris.
Luckily, the layers can kind of be decreased over the next couple of mornings, so good news there. Not if you're up here. 7 degrees. That is the current temperature right here around Beach Mountain. So just absolutely staggering up here. And our blowing rock camera, not blowing right now because it froze on me, but you can still see a lot of those frozen over streets. A lot of that snow is still very much on the ground. Meanwhile, we have some birds flying by here on top of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just some upper level clouds, but what you're seeing right there is really the testament of what today is going to look like. We're starting off the sunniest. This is right now. And then we'll pick up more and more clouds throughout the day. So we'll have a much cloudier end to the afternoon. Meanwhile, where the clouds haven't really impacted us too much, gorgeous right now the further east you go here in Anson County. Love that golden sunshine up in the air. So look at the difference here where you have snow everywhere. The sidewalks actually look better than the roads right now. 15 degrees, still feeling like 3, and luckily we have a calm wind for now, but on and off over the next couple of hours, the mid to the upper 20s could feel more like the mid to the upper teens depending on that stray wind gust. Our camera just swung over there. You can see that the roads really not that great the higher you go up, but that's a small percentage of us. 48 degrees is the high for today, ending mostly cloudy for the afternoon. So if you're celebrating, say, Taco Tuesday heading into the evening, it will be a chilly one, definitely not one that you want to be outside eating. Now, going forward, the biggest change that I'm seeing is really our next rain chance. And our next rain chance looks like it's going to be right here on Thursday. Thursday is where we have the best widespread potential, but it's a tricky forecast just because I think it's going to be the tale of 2 bursts of rain. One that arrives on your Thursday morning, settles to the north, and then eventually we're going to have the final passage. By tomorrow, we're definitely going to have a much better understanding exactly what this is going to do, but let me show you the near term. So first off and foremost, we have only this chance for rain really over the next 7 days. So it's Thursday night into Friday is our window of opportunity for any sort of rain. In the near term, the next chance for snow in the high country is going to be associated with this little trough that moves through overnight tonight heading into tomorrow. And then what you're seeing to the north, that is going to be our next system, and it's going to be associated with a cold front. So here's what that looks like. For one, most of the rain is going to be further off towards the north initially. This goes through Friday early morning, where a lot of the models are not going as far out heading into your, say, middle of your Friday morning. But notice all that rain to the west. Asheville, close to 2 inches of rain, 2 to 3 over in eastern Tennessee. There's a chance a lot of that is going to be swinging over, and even a chance for a rumble of thunder associated with this. So this is definitely a developing story, and I want to show you exactly what it looks like. I think we see our first round of rain heading into the morning right along the I-85 corridor. It lifts to the north, but this isn't set in stone. We have what's called the quasi-stationary front, and these ones kind of wiggle all over the place, and eventually it's going to work its way down towards the south. But it's that rain that you look to the west. Look at that. That would likely be a line of thunderstorms by 7 p.m. on Thursday. That is what's going to pass overnight heading into Friday that I think is going to give us our best potential for rain in the short term. So for our 7-day forecast, brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center, lowered to the mid-60s. But I am aiming my sights past this rain that we're going to see, even though we desperately need it. Very happy about that. But we haven't really had a weekend recently that it's been perfect, where there hasn't been some sort of rain chance. Think about it. Our 2 biggest winter events were on a weekend. One was a Saturday where we had all that snow. One was on a Sunday where we had all that ice. So it's nice to see a mix of clouds and sunshine with highs in the mid-60s, even the lower 70s. Now, what goes up must come down, especially this time of year. So we will see a 20-degree drop, another one heading into Monday. But at least this drop isn't as drastic as the one that we just went through. This morning is the coldest morning by far. All right, that's going to wrap up weather. We'll talk about it later. Let's get right over to Majestic, see how things are rolling this morning.
All right, let's get a quick update on those roads. I-85, yes, it's busy. This is near mile marker 24, near Hickory Grove. No accidents, just a lot of people waking up and starting their day. Once we're heading north of Uptown, still this active crash. It's going to be on Sunset Road, eastbound at I-77. Minimal delays building with that one. Meanwhile, a little closer to Uptown, this is on 5th Street at North Clarkson Street, just happening about 10 minutes ago. Look at I-77. You can see how slow moving it is, but that's pretty typical for this time of the day. South Bend Street at West Moorhead Street, another accident. We're seeing those delays coming in all directions. And then finally this one, it's going to be on Kings Drive, where we do have clearing happening now, so that one should be cleared in just a couple minutes. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks. There's more growing concerns about how new I-77 toll lanes could impact some of Charlotte's historically black neighborhoods. We're going to show you a rendering right here behind me. This gives you an idea of just exactly what it would look like. A lot of this would be brand new. This is uptown in the background. But you know, a lot of city leaders now saying they share some of those same exact concerns that neighbors do. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards live in West Charlotte along the interstate explaining what's being done by the city now to at least, if nothing else, pump the brakes on what's happening. Destiny.
Yeah, state leaders have expressed they want to slow down or try to pause this project. They've maintained there's not much they can do, but they want people to know that they're being heard. This meeting last night had a lot of heated public comment, some outbursts even, but it is very clear from this meeting that a lot of people feel this stretch of I-77 means more than just traffic.
Stop the expansion! Stop the expansion! Stop the expansion!
A packed crowd filled city council chambers last night, holding signs demanding city leaders to protect West Charlotte from the I-77 expansion. Dozens of speakers voiced concerns about how the project could impact historically black neighborhoods and local businesses and whether there's been enough transparency. Councilmember Ed Driggs says when the project was first approved back in 2014, leaders didn't fully realize the level of pushback from the community.
At that time, there wasn't a crowd like here in the room. We didn't sit here and look at people like that and just go ahead and make that vote. We did not actually realize the full scope of opposition to this until those maps went out and everybody, I guess, became aware. So where we are right now is all of us, myself included, are concerned about what we see.
Driggs says the project falls under NCDOT, meaning the city can't overrule it, but it can relay these strong concerns from the community. And while many people want the expansion stopped, there are business leaders who say it could improve mobility if done with clear protections and accountability. Now, council members did not, after public comment, they did not unanimously formally vote to add this issue to last night's agenda, but they did agree to table it until their council retreat that's set for next Monday. Live this morning in West Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. At that same meeting, Charlotte city leaders approved more than $4.1 million for the 5 Points Affordable Housing Project. This funding will give Historic West End partners a short-term loan to acquire about an acre of land along the Gold Line on West Trade Street. The nonprofit plans to turn that site into a mixed-use development with a large grocery market along with affordable housing.
This morning, the Catawba Ridge High School community is grappling with a loss. The York County Sheriff's Office says 18-year-old student Colton Brown died Friday after getting injured while doing yard work at his home in Fort Mill. Authorities say the circumstances are still unclear and they're investigating. Grief counselors will be on campus all week long to support students and staff. A violent assault in West Charlotte left a pregnant woman hurt. Police say 23-year-old Devon Whiskey Norgriff hit his girlfriend in the head with a glass bong. He now faces several charges and is being held on a $50,000 bond. A Charlotte man behind bars this morning arrested for an assault at the Carolina Mall in Concord. Police arrested 38-year-old Muhammad Adams after they say he attacked a man with a baseball bat Saturday. Investigators believe it was targeted and the two know each other. The victim's expected to be okay.
Flags in South Carolina will be at half-staff from sunrise to sunset next Monday to honor South Carolina native and civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson. Governor McMaster made that announcement Monday, noting it's the same day Jackson's body will lie in state at the State House. Jackson died last Tuesday at the age of 84. More details are expected in the coming days about the honoring. A heads up to anyone who frequents Freedom Park. This week, crews will be clearing debris from the pond. We're told the park will stay open, but intermittent trail closures may be needed. That parking lot at Whittington Field will only be open weekdays after 4:30 and on weekends. The work is expected to be completed sometime this summer. All right, Raising Cane lovers rejoice. The chain's new Rock Hill location opens today. It's at John Ross Parkway. That grand opening starts in just a few minutes, about 20 minutes from now at 8 this morning. The chicken chain also tells us it's looking at potential spots for a location in Charlotte.
Allegiant Air rolling out flights like no other. It's called Flight 925. We'll take you on board.
And the Hyundai Hometown Hero program is returning for its 8th year. WCNC Charlotte has partnered with the Charlotte area Hyundai dealers to honor one outstanding teacher with a brand new Hyundai Santa Fe. If you know a teacher who goes above and beyond, you should nominate them. Just go to WCNC.com/hometown hero. The nominations are due March 8th. All right, well, the parents of 9 campers and counselors who died in last summer's Camp Mystic flooding in Texas have filed a federal lawsuit against state health officials. That suit claims the state approved the camp even though it failed to maintain a written evacuation plan that's required under Texas law. Instead, the camp's emergency instructions told children to stay in side cabins during flooding, including those in designated flood zones along the river. The floodwaters swept through that camp early on July 4th, killing 27 campers and counselors. A statement from an attorney says officials looked the other way, and despite that tragedy, Camp Mystic's license remains valid as it plans to reopen this summer.
All right, let's go back to that video we showed you just a moment ago. This is video at Newark Airport in New Jersey yesterday. As you can see, empty desks, no lines, just all as that airport, like a lot in the Northeast, dealing with major weather disruptions. Thousands of flights canceled or delayed today. Airports warning travelers to expect continued delays and cancellations throughout the day.
Oh, spring break season is just around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. And if you haven't booked a getaway yet, there is still time. Jen Sullivan has some tips on how to still score hot deals.
Are you tired of the snow and cold weather? It's not too late to book a spring getaway.
There are loads of places that still have availability and places that you can find great deals.
Emily Kaufman, known as the Travel Mom, says if you're looking for somewhere warm, all-inclusive resorts are great for families.
They're a great way to stick to a budget, and you get so much value. Your accommodations, your meals.
Looking for something adventurous like skiing? If you book at a Vail Resort, which are located at various ski towns, you can get $100 or more off per lift ticket if you book at least 4 weeks in advance.
That's a savings of 30%.
Kaufman recommends Keystone Resort for families. There's one located right outside of Breckenridge, Colorado. If you don't want to splurge on a long hotel stay, Kaufman says check out Resort Pass. They sell day passes to hotels and spas at more than 2,500 locations in the U.S., Caribbean, Mexico, and parts of South America. When you're planning your trip, check out the community's Convention and Visitors Bureau because they'll often advertise special deals on local activities. Kaufman says being flexible with your travel dates will help keep down the cost, but that can be tricky when you're tied to the school calendar.
Flights are going to be challenging because it's all about supply and demand.
Kaufman suggests checking alternate airports around your destination city because prices can fluctuate.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Check this out. According to Travel + Leisure, these are the top 5 destinations for spring break this year. At number 1, Hilo, Hawaii. Very nice. Number 2, no stranger to us. We endorse number 2. Asheville. Number 3, Sarasota, Florida. 4 is Long Beach, California. And 5, Panama City Beach there in Florida as well. Each of the destinations saw an increase in searches and flights booked on Google.
In college, I did 2 of those, but I went to school at Florida State, so of course Panama City.
Okay.
Or some people would say Panama City, like as one word, and Sarasota, of course.
Yes.
Has the whitest, most perfect sand. I didn't think about Asheville, but
we recommend Asheville because they can still really use your support business
This is
after
true.
Helene. So I say go all in on the Carolina.
Go to
destination.
North
Why not?
Carolina mountains, check it out.
How about that?
Good food town too.
Great food town.
Right?
Amazing restaurant.
All right, well, listen to this, guys. A new partnership will give some Dolly Parton fans a break from their 9 to 5. Allegiant Air is launching a first-of-its-kind Dollywood-themed flight for one day only this November. Travelers flying from Orlando to Knoxville will board specially numbered. Can you guys guess what the flight number is?
Tell us.
925.
Very good, Chris.
Thank you.
925, which of course is a reference to Dolly's iconic song. It will include live entertainment, a trivia contest, and themed food and drinks. Passengers who also buy tickets to Dollywood will get discounts and access to a special experience the next day. That flight is scheduled to depart on November 6th.
I wonder
All right.
if Dolly will be there. Maybe.
Who knows?
Wouldn't that be fun?
All right, it's crunch time. Literally. Find out how one mistake forever changed snack history. We'll explain.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, check it out. So the snowstorm, of course, we know, was one that's almost comparable to the blizzard of '78 that mainly impacted New England. But where we're looking right here is Atlantic City, New Jersey, who also got pummeled. Now, look at this. This is an absolute awful situation that a blast of the winter weather hitting the Northeast actually caused serious coastal flooding as well. This is one thing that we overlook because the strong winds out of the Northeast. That's why it's called a nor'easter, not because they primarily actually impact the Northeast. And some of that rising water on the Jersey Shore freezing and icing over. That's why it looks so slick and glossy. Stranding vehicles, Atlantic City is actually expected more than a foot of snow, and that is already in the books, of course. Meanwhile, closer to home, here's our status. We have some flurries that are flying, but that's not really going to amount to too much in the short term. But it's on the cloudier side where we'll see some breaks here and there. And then as you can see, some clouds starting to creep in. We're looking actually off towards the west. That cloud cover moves in, especially later on today, but an ample amount of sunshine to begin it. 19 degrees right around Morganton, 25 degrees around Charlotte. And then today's highs reaching the upper 40s. And as I mentioned, more clouds to end the day, and that eventually is going to lead to a warmer overnight. We're only falling to 40 degrees. Tomorrow, 61, though. I think we stay dry, and then our next chance for rain starts to roll in. And that's where I want to move on to our big weather highlighter for the week. So first off, as I mentioned, that is going to be our next chance for rain. But I want to show you one model that actually shows more rain than what some of the others are showing. This one has, by the end of your Friday, that's why we have two scenarios here, that our area could actually have up to 2 inches. Now, this is a change. This has definitely come up. A majority of this happens Thursday night heading into Friday, but one model shows all this rain is to the north of us. Another one shows that it's smack dab right across the Charlotte area. So that's why I want everyone to just keep in the back of their mind that our best chance for rain is really Thursday night heading into Friday. Here is the one that of the more trustworthy models. This one takes kind of the now data and puts it into the algorithms and all the different numerical formulas to create, hey, this is what likely is going to happen. We see widespread rain heading into the morning, but then the heavier rain sets up right here around the I-40 corridor, and then the main batch, this one right here, could be a line of actually some pretty mean thunderstorms, even with temperatures in the 50s. Now, if we were talking about 60s and upper 60s, we'd be talking about a line of severe storms for sure, but I think that line is going to move through the overnight. This model data does not push that far out, so the next time you're seeing me tomorrow morning on WCNC Plus, we're going to have a clearer picture. So one last look at that Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, at least for this hour. And then, of course, I'll start off the next one. We have the 60s changing to the 70s, eventually back into the lower 50s, heading into early next week. Let's change this over to a 10-day forecast. There we go. We have 52, 59, and at least it's a quick comeback to the mid-60s. This is also the coldest morning that we have going forward in the near term. All right, Majestic, one look to end the 7 o'clock hour. How's it looking?
Good morning, everyone. This is going to be I-77 out near Arrowwood, where we do have slow-moving traffic, of course, heading inbound. Not so bad if you're heading outbound there. Lanes are moving. They're just moving really slowly as we're now getting close to that 8 o'clock time frame. Still a handful of ongoing issues. This is something new, though. It's going to be northwest of Uptown. It's on Brookshire Boulevard at Mount Holly Huntersville Road. It's not a crash. It's just some traffic lights that are not working. So you can see traffic is just moving a little slower because of that. Once we're heading down to the south just a bit, this is 5th Street eastbound at North Clarkson Street. Minor inconvenience there. It is clearing, though. And then a newer one here. I-77 northbound lanes at Woodlawn Road. It is backed up to Nations Ford Road. I like to see at least yellow, meaning that cars are flowing basically okay. Probably that crash is off to the shoulder. We'll learn more about this. I'll give you some more details coming up here soon.
Did you know today is National Tortilla Chip Day, a celebration of America's favorite snacks, one of our favorites. Tortilla chips were actually invented by accident in the 1940s when a Los Angeles tortilla factory began frying leftover scraps instead of throwing them away.
That happy mistake turned into a nationwide staple. And you heard right, despite what many people assume, tortilla chips actually created here in the States, not in Mexico or anywhere else. Today, they're a cornerstone of everything from nachos to party dips. So grab a handful or more and celebrate the crunchy snack.
Wow. So this was a mistake, and potato chips were invented by mistake as well.
Really?
Yeah, they sliced the potatoes too thin.
Yes.
Because usually you have the slices of potatoes, stuff like that, and then made a nice little chip, and then that was born.
Delicious mistake.
I know.
Right?
Happy accident.
What do you guys like on your tortillas? What do you like? Or use them to.
Well, like tortilla chips, like guac, I love.
Yeah.
Queso. Salsa. I mean, like, there's no. Do you have the trio of all three? Like,
Yeah, like a little sampler. I think with the tortilla chips, it's like you eat them so easily, and then it's like, okay, how many tortillas did I just actually eat?
I know.
Full-size tortillas.
Don't even worry about it.
And don't get me started on Rotel.
We're not going to go down that road.
cheese?
We're not doing that. You know what? We're going to take a break while you think about that.
I will.
So good. Okay, take a look at Uptown. Also looks good, but you know what? It's cold too. But things are improving. Chris says we're going to get up to the 60s and 70s eventually. All right, guys, stay with us. Streaming live here on WCNC Plus.
Sunshine popping everywhere now. We have some flurries flying here in Blowing Rock and some clouds creeping in here over in our Dallas camera pointing off towards the west. 27 degrees. We officially began our warm up. 19 for you in Morganton, 24 around Hickory. Highs only in the upper 40s today, mixing in more clouds by the back end. Still breezy, but not as windy as the last couple of days. Occasional gusts getting up to 20 plus. Overnight tonight, only down to 40. This is going to be nice. It's a nice overcast start to tomorrow. Getting back into the lower 60s, and then our next best chance for rain Thursday. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has us the 60s starting tomorrow, and then they remain through the weekend, even up into the lower 70s on Sunday. And then eventually, you know, the saying, what goes up must come down. Well, it's a brief drop to the 50s before the mid 60s are back in action next Wednesday. Let's see if there's any action for your morning commute with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Just before 8 o'clock this morning, it is another typical start to the day here in Charlotte. Very slow-moving traffic. This is I-77 inbound lanes out near Tyvola. No crash here, just a lot of people heading in the same direction. Something new that you'll want to know about is we're zooming it in. This just happening a couple of minutes ago. I-77 at Woodlawn Road. We're seeing northbound lanes being impacted by that. We'll have more on WCNC Plus.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
A powerful winter storm hitting the Northeast, and flights across the country are feeling the impact, including here at Charlotte Douglas, where we're seeing about 50 cancellations and 10 delays so far today. That number likely to grow. Just yesterday, we saw 160 cancellations and nearly as many as delays.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live this morning. He's at Charlotte Douglas with how travelers can prepare despite the uncertainty. Now, when we last spoke with you, Richard, there was a family heading to Detroit. I believe their flight was on time, yes?
Yeah, their flight was on time, Lisa. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. A good Tuesday morning, all of our folks on the Plus. Basically, their flight was on time because that part of the Midwest is not being affected by this storm as far as direct flights, too. But flights that might connect through the Northeast, that's going to give them problems. So they were very fortunate. Take a look at Charlotte Douglas. It's a Tuesday. This is what Charlotte Douglas looks like normally on a Tuesday. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, not as much foot traffic. That's good news because if you're heading to the Northeast or connecting to the Northeast, you're going to have some problems today. We're looking at the big board. Cancellations we see still in Boston area, Northeast, they're canceled. Of course, the New York City area can't get in and out of there. Providence, Rhode Island as well. And we saw something earlier, even the LaGuardia area and Newark, New Jersey. Now we see a flight from Newark that seems like it's on time. So a lot of folks are going to have some issues this morning. As we look at video, we can tell you this is all because of, as you guys mentioned, that winter storm that is barreling down on the Northeast this morning, giving headaches for air travelers across the region. You've seen some heavy snow, high winds, and that's forced thousands of flight delays and cancellations at major hubs like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia, with more than 8,000 total flights affected so far. Now that disruption, it's also coming through here at Charlotte Douglas, where we've seen canceled flights, as you mentioned, over 150 flights yesterday and delayed dozens others as the weather and staffing issues are mounting, because you got to understand some flight attendants who were in that area had other flights, other places. They couldn't get to those areas. And for passengers, a lot of passengers who were stranded are in trouble because they can't get to their final destinations. Take a listen.
We're just in the airport. We don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's short and sweet because we have been talking to people today. One of the good news is that we've been telling people, as we always do, plan ahead. We have not seen a lot of folks who are going in that area, which is good news. They're finding out, listening to us and others, and they're making sure that they know that if their flight is canceled, what their methods are, or what alternative routes they'll have to take, or trips might be postponed a couple hours or a couple days as that we wait for this storm to blow over. So as all times when you travel, especially in times like this, check your airline with your airline to make sure that your flight is okay. Safe travels to anyone who's traveling. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks. Now to a developing story in Stanley County, where the North Carolina SBI is investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting. The Bureau says the deputy killed one person during the incident Monday, but did not release their identity. The SBI tells us they could not share more information this early in the investigation. We've also reached out to the sheriff to get more information. We'll let you know when we hear back. Right now, 2 men have been arrested and charged in connection to this December shooting in Monroe. Take a look. 18-year-old Amari Bowman and 19-year-old Bryce Cummington charged with firing into a home there. Detectives say the suspects opened fire from the baseball fields at Sunset Park, hitting the home at least 10 times, all while several people, including kids that were inside. Thankfully, nobody was hurt.
Today, 2 teens involved in a Rock Hill homicide will face a judge. Rock Hill police say last Friday, 18-year-old Xavier Heath and a 16-year-old girl were trying to rob a 15-year-old at gunpoint at a parking deck near the intersections of Main Street and Dave Lyle Boulevard. Police say during that robbery, the 15-year-old shot and killed Heath. The 16-year-old faces charges of armed robbery and murder for her participation that led to Heath's death. The 15-year-old is facing a firearm charge. Both teens are expected in court today. The town of Cornelius is taking a new approach to policing and adding more support to some of its most sensitive 911 calls. This is all thanks to the town's new co-responder program that connects people with mental health care faster.
So instead of just seeing lights and hearing sirens, calls involving mental health, substance abuse, and homelessness in Cornelius will now bring a mental health expert as well. The chief there says the program's been years in the making. They've been working on this for quite some time. And he says it's going to help improve responses in the community for everybody.
We know that mental health, like so many other things, knows no boundaries. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter your level of education, you know, any of that. You know, you can easily have some type of underlying mental health type problem.
The clinician is trained in both law enforcement and mental health. That clinician on board adds another level of care for officers. It also means less time tied up in paperwork. Right now, 3 people recovering after a plane crash at the Monroe Airport. A plane coming in from Wilmington overturned near the runway Monday. All 3 people on the board taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. This morning, the FAA is working to figure out what caused the crash.
Today, family and friends will say their final goodbyes to Gaston County firefighter Joseph Joey Pullen. The Cramerton Fire Department says Pullen was the definition of a public servant, adding that he cared deeply for others and always stepped up when someone was in need. His funeral will be held this afternoon in the chapel of Wisnet Funeral Home. Pullen was 56 years old. All right, let's check in with Chris now to find out more about our forecast for this Tuesday. We've seen some really beautiful views from the mountains this morning.
Absolutely. I thought this one was frozen at first, but you can just slowly see things starting to rise up. That's actually some active snow blowers that are happening. And beautiful rays shining through as well, and berries, some flurries happening. But we actually have Banner Elk that does have some active flurries here. Roads looking much better over here at King Street on top of Beach Mountain. Still not great. That's where it's the windiest, but they're also actively making snow right now. But really, wherever you look up there, it's looking much better than, say, it did at this time yesterday. And our WCNC tower camera is still showing some upper level clouds starting to sneak in. We've officially began our warm up for the day. 27 degrees, making its way towards that freezing point between 9 and 10. And then eventually we're going to see a nice little rise over here in Louisville. This is where it's the sunniest. The further east you go, that's where we have the most activity as far as sunshine and clear skies, because look at these big chunks of clouds that have now moved in. Clouds are increasing throughout today. Chance of a flurry still going to be flying, and then there's going to be a second chance for a little bit of snow later on up in the mountains tonight heading into tomorrow. I think up to an inch where it looks to be the norm. I'll show you that in 1 second. Our wind chills not as bad as they were yesterday, and certainly compared to the day before, because the winds are getting a little bit lighter. We're also getting a little bit warmer. That helps. Still feeling like freezing and below around Blowing Rock. And then Charlotte, lighter winds still making it feel like the upper 30s to the 40s for the afternoon. But our high temperatures realistically are going to be closer to that 48 degree point. So going forward, you can expect the beginning of our warm up. Yesterday we only had 43. Today we have the upper 40s, some of us challenging 50 degrees southeast of Charlotte, but we will eventually get back into the 60s. Check it out, 61 tomorrow, 64 on Thursday. That's our next best chance for rain. And then Friday, 61. But I'm really excited about the weekend forecast. Ooh, 66 degrees on Saturday and then 73 on Sunday. Now, in between that, we have to get through that chance for rain. And actually, the next time I'm up here talking, so that's going to be within the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to have that full forecast showing you exactly what the rain looks like and kind of the 2 scenarios that are currently on the table. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has the 60s staying Wednesday through Saturday. Sunday rises above the rest. Highs in the lower to the mid 70s. This actually keeps trending up each time I come in the morning. And then we will eventually see a downward swing to the 50s and even a chance for a near freezing low on Tuesday. But don't worry. The thing with this time of year, the drops don't last as long. They're still not fun. It's still a 20 degree difference, but we're back to the mid 60s by the middle of next week, which isn't too bad. 60 slowly taking over, y'all. All right, let's get right over to Majestic. How's the top of the 8 o'clock hour look?
Good morning, everyone. Well, here we go. Let's start with this. We'll look at I-85. This is mile marker 29, so that's near Sam Wilson. We do have, of course, a lot of people out there starting their day. No active crashes out in this area, but just wanted to give you some perspective if your morning commute takes you on I-85. This isn't a new accident just popping up. It's at Rocky River Church Road at Camp Stewart Road. It's just by I-485, the eastern half of it. I am seeing delays coming in all directions there. Next up, we have Mallard Creek Road just north of Medical Plaza Drive. Minimal impacts with that one. And then to the south, Berkshire Boulevard. If you take that for your morning commute, we're seeing really the impacts on the inbound lanes at North Hoskins Road. That orange indicating that cars are moving very slowly. Ashley Road at Tuckasegee southbound lanes. You can see a lot of colors indicating there will be delays with that. And then finally, I-77 northbound. I talked about this one about 15 minutes ago. We haven't seen it clear, and we also haven't seen it gotten a lot worse, so it's kind of just staying steady at this point. It's at Woodlawn Road, seeing those delays back up to Nations Ford Road. Ben.
Fantastic. Thanks. As we go to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, you know here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that we love ourselves and have tested. And let me tell you something, I love this coat. It's been a long winter. Even for friends in the South, they've had ice and cold and snow, and we have too. But I've been nice and cozy now for the last 2 months thanks to this jacket. This is the Helios heated jacket, and why I love this so much is that there are 5 heated panels within this jacket, and you can target exactly where you want the heat. Even better, it comes in multiple colors. There's a men's style and a women's style as well, and even better than all that, it also can convert into a vest, so this jacket gets you through more than just one season. And then these 2 little buttons right here on the pocket. I love how easy this is to use. You hold it for a few seconds, and that puts you on red, which is the highest setting, but then you also have white and blue. So it depends on the intensity that you want, but no matter what you pick, it keeps you nice and warm and cozy. So not only is it a good looking jacket, and you have your front pockets right here, you have another pocket right here for smaller items, a Velcro pocket, but the idea here is about warmth. When you're having a tough winter, a jacket like this means so much, whether you're going for a long walk or whether you're waiting for the car to heat up. No matter what it is, this is a great jacket, and not only a great jacket, a great deal. 45% off. Can't put a price on beating back against old man winter like I've been. I really do love this coat, so check it out. You have the QR code there at the bottom of the screen or shoptvdeals.com.
Now, there's been another deadly strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean. That attack killed 3 people on the boat. Officials say a designated terrorist group operated the vessel, and intelligence confirmed that boat was moving along a known drug trafficking route. This is the 7th vessel the military has hit this year. The ongoing campaign, called Operation Southern Spear, has now killed more than 150 people dating back to last year.
Senate Democrats introducing a bill that would force the federal government to refund billions in tariff revenue paid by U.S. companies. It follows a Supreme Court ruling that said President Donald Trump violated federal law when he imposed sweeping global tariffs under emergency economic authority. Mr. Trump responded by raising global tariffs to 15% under a different law. The new Tariff Reduction Refund Act of 2026 would require full refunds with interest, prioritizing small U.S. importers and processing all payments in the next 180 days. Well, President Trump, preparing to deliver his State of the Union address, tonight, where he's expected to talk about immigration, economy, and those tariffs.
Leaders from both parties and other important figures are set to be in attendance for tonight's speech, though some Democrats have already signaled plans to boycott. NBC's Tracy Wilkins is in Washington with the latest.
While few details have been confirmed for tonight's State of the Union address, the president's latest public comments and his posts on Truth Social may suggest what the nation can expect. There is one thing the president has made clear.
It's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about.
The latest polling showing nearly 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's overall performance, and more than half disapproving of key policies like the economy, international relations, and immigration enforcement, according to a Washington Post ABC poll. Changing minds is expected to be a key focus of tonight's speech as the president makes his own case.
We've transformed stagnation into growth, weakness into strength, and chaos into order, liberty, and justice. We have done that. Today, our border is secure. Murders are at a 125-year low.
Some Democrats have said they will not attend tonight's address in protest.
It's important to show the American public that someone that has led the single most corrupt government in U.S. history, that there has to be action against that.
There's no confirmation on who will be the president's guests for the evening, but we do expect the Supreme Court justices to be front and center following their 6-3 ruling limiting Trump's ability to level tariffs.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court.
But what the president's base and most Americans will want to hear is his plans for the economy, lowering inflation and prices, something the president claims he's already winning on.
I have to listen to the fake news talking about affordability. I've won affordability.
At least a dozen Democrats plan to boycott the speech and attend rallies in D.C. instead. 6 Democrats, including Congressman Ro Khanna, plan to bring survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse as their guests. The official Democratic response will be delivered by Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, along with Senator Alex Padilla, who will give a response in Spanish. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News.
The U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Jeanine Pirro, is no longer pursuing a criminal case against 6 Democratic lawmakers. The group, including Senators Alyssa Slotkin and Mark Kelly, recorded a video telling U.S. service members and intelligence officials that illegal orders from the White House do not have to be followed. A federal grand jury earlier this month declined to indict the lawmakers. A source says Pirro has no plans to bring that case back before a grand jury.
8:17 right now. Today in Black History, we talk about a boxing legend that raised the bar for the sport. That's next.
Okie dokie, we are looking at an interesting scenario across the United States. Check this out. This is bad. These are some of the situations that we are running to, not just in the Northeast to around New Jersey and New York, but all the way up into New England as well. So where we're looking right now for the time being off to the Northeast, sorry, like now I lost my place where I had a little script going, is Boston, Massachusetts, where several vehicles are actually stranded on Route 24 southbound. I know this road well. Now, what's interesting about this is very reminiscent and nostalgic in a bad way for what happened in the blizzard of '78, that literally cars were stranded for days because of the amount of snow that came down. We had some similar snow totals that were all responsible for this. This is the type of snow. Once you're talking about over a foot, it's almost undrivable. When you talk about 2 to 3, absolutely not. And that's why people were literally buried in this. And they're still going to be cleaning up for days to come. So that's Boston, Massachusetts. What an absolute mess. Really, our friends off towards the Northeast, they cannot wait for some warmer weather because they also spent pretty much the better part of a week below 20 degrees. It was that cold that highs were sometimes in the teens. It has been a brutal winter for them. We haven't had a great winter either. You can only imagine what our friends up in New York and New England have been dealing with now this. So the next big weather story for us here in the Charlotte area is going to be our next wet day, and that looks to be Thursday. But I think Thursday night to Friday is actually shaping up to be the bigger blast. But what I think is really interesting, still building on this stat, we still have not had a measurable rainfall Monday through Thursday. We've had a trace of rain, but Charlotte Douglas has not reported that yet. Thursday looks to be the first chance for that, and then we could add another tally to the Friday time slot as well. So here's the first arrival of the rain. We see some rain starting to work its way right around the I-85 corridor, seeing some bursts of some heavier rain. But this is scenario 1. Scenario 1 actually trends more rain to the north around the Virginia border and the I-40 corridor before we're waiting for the next round to roll in. It's going to be right along here where we could even have some rumbles of thunder. That's the heaviest rain. We could have some substantial rain totals there. Meanwhile, this is what that looks like. If that scenario comes true, it'll show rain upwards to about a quarter to a half inch with maybe a chance of doubling this heading into your Friday morning. It's just all about what this rain does and how really impactful it's going to be to our area once it gets a little bit closer. Rainfall forecasts that are showing the more favor of widespread heavier rain heading into Friday morning is this long range model where it literally shows up to 2 to 3 inches. So right now we're not really seeing a big agreement between the long range and the short range models. Tomorrow, I think they're going to start to come together for a better consensus. Regardless, it's going to rain. Here's the setup. We have a low pressure system attached to a front. Whenever a low pressure system is nearby, it cranks up the winds and oftentimes can blast in some extra moisture. And it's going to be in here Thursday. It'll be out of here late on Friday, and that will actually lead to a picture perfect weekend. So something to look forward to. All right, let's get another check of our morning commute with Majestic. What's the big story?
Oh, it is slow. Look at this. I-77 out near Gilead. Cars are just hardly moving. Lots of traffic as we are heading out the door for our Tuesday morning commute. It's just really that time of the day where we're seeing some of the worst conditions just before 8:30 this morning. Do want to let you know about a couple of new things. This crash here, as we zoom it in, it's at Mallard Creek Road, north at Medical Plaza Drive. We do have delays coming in, and here's a picture that I just got into my traffic inbox of that specific accident. You can see a couple of emergency responders are there on scene. Cars are still able to get by. They're just moving by rather slowly, which would make sense. Then once we're heading down to the south of even 485, this is South Tryon Street near Still Creek Road, where we have slow moving conditions as well because of this ongoing accident. Another picture, a couple of police officers there on scene. At least 2 cars are involved in this crash that we know of. This is inbound South Tryon just after I-485.
Today in Black history, 49 years ago, a boxing legend was born. Floyd Mayweather Jr. rose from a fighting family to become one of the most skilled boxers the sport has ever seen. Across 5 weight classes, he built a perfect 50-0 record, earning some record-breaking purses along the way and becoming the highest-paid boxer in history. Mayweather officially retired in 2017. He now competes in exhibition matchups. In fact, he returns to the ring this spring to take on Mike Tyson.
Wow. All right, folks, just about 8:25 right now as we take a live look over Uptown. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
It's cold outside. This is the coldest morning I'm happy to report for the foreseeable future. We'll be around freezing next Tuesday, but not like this. 19 degrees around Rock Hill, 21 was the bottom in Hickory, 25 the bottom for you around Charlotte. And we're starting to warm up barely. Some upper level clouds already joining us. It means that it's going to be a cloudier end to the day. High temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s. Now our lows tomorrow only around 40 degrees, still sub-freezing in the high country, but for the most part we are staying above 40 degrees going through the weekend into next week. This is only that brief drop to around 33 next Tuesday. So that 7-day forecast brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Supercenter. The 60s take over tomorrow, even with our next big chance for rain. That's Thursday night heading into Friday. Here's the top though, 73 on Sunday. Something to look forward to. A pretty decent weekend. Let's see how our traffic is rolling. A lot of icons, Majestic.
Yeah, lots going on just before 8:30 this morning. I-77, as we would typically expect, it is a busy one. Not seeing any major concerns right now, so at least we'll take that. Do you want to take it just north of Uptown? It's going to be right here, Mallard Creek Road, just north of Medical Plaza Drive. There is an accident there. Emergency responders are there on scene. I know cars are still able to get around it. They're just moving rather slowly. And then really we're following this. It's a stalled vehicle right there on Woodlawn Road. Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Let's get a look at your weather impact forecast right now. Folks, it's a cold morning, but you know what? It's up from here. Chris?
Yes, it is. I'm really happy to see. Look at that 73-degree point. So we'll start there. And really gorgeous shots wherever we've been looking. Our resort cameras showing some sunshine fighting through the clouds. But bottom line today, even though it's going to be a little bit warmer, we're not as sunny as we were yesterday, but we're also not as windy. So we'll kind of exchange one for the other. 16 degrees in Boone. By the way, Boone's sensor has been out for about 28 hours now, so now it's officially back. Boone, welcome back. 16 degrees. Still seeing some flurries that are flying. Sunshine right around Hickory. The cloudiest part is really right around the Charlotte area, but we're going to see those upper level clouds to start, and then by the afternoon, it does get a lot cloudier, eventually reaching the mid to the upper 40s for our highs today. Here's what's flying in the mountains. Barely anything. Just a few lingering flurries, and I think we see that for the rest of this morning. As far as any additional snowfall, don't worry about it. I think you're literally just seeing the flurries, but there is a second chance for snow tonight, where we could add actually more than what some areas saw, up to about an inch of snow. Now, most areas did see about 1 to 2 inches. There weren't a lot of snow totals that came from this, but you can visibly see it here on multiple cameras. But this little blue right here is representing that parts of the mountains, mainly along the Tennessee border, the higher you go up, the big ones, Grandfather, Beach, Sugar, all going to see higher totals upwards to about 2 to 4 inches when all is said and done. The thing is, our temperatures, especially in the lower elevations below 4,000 feet, are going to be above freezing by the time the sun's rising up. And what that's going to do is still keeping a wet snow around, but it could transition over to some rain, and then it gets cut off, and then we're done. And also, the winds are out of the southwest, just a warmer direction, so this is actually be a nice warm up for you in the mountains. Mix of cloud and sunshine here and there, but you're going to see a nice little blast out of the southwest. So our Charlotte forecast over the next 3 days, you can see that one day stands out from all the rest, and not the best fashion for a cooler reason. 48 degrees on today, and then lower to the mid 60s tomorrow and Thursday. Thursday is also one day that could do something for the first time we've done in 2026. You probably don't keep track of this. I actually spend the time going through all this data, but we have had 3 Fridays, 3 Saturdays, and 5 Sundays that we've had some sort of measurable precip. May that be measurable sleet, freezing rain, snow, or just plain old rain. Well, this is going to be plain old rain, but we have 2 rounds that are possible for Charlotte. One on Thursday morning to the afternoon, another one Thursday night heading into Friday. Still a lot of question marks. So here's our first onslaught of rain. This is the model that I trust the most, showing morning rain, but then watch, it starts to lift off towards the north. So the it is a stationary front, also known as a quasi-stationary front. Kind of does one of these sometimes. So wherever the axis sets up can give a substantial amount of rain. That literally, if this sets up over one place, you can talk about 1 to 2 inches of rain, followed by more rain further off towards the west. Because look at this line. The farthest out that this model goes is till about 8 p.m. on Thursday. It's this mean line of rain that could provide some thunder and lightning. That's what we're really keeping an eye on. So that's going to be the case in scenario. Next time you see me, I'm going to show you the next model that shows much higher rain totals across the greater Charlotte area. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has this one day in the 40s. We do have another day on the bookends at 52 degrees. We start off cooler again next week, but let's talk about the climb. 60s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 60s with sunshine on Saturday, and the day that stands out from all the rest shaping up to be the pick of the week, 73, with highs even reaching the mid 70s for some on Sunday. All right. Okay, last time I saw Majestic, she had a lot going on the map. Let's see what's going on now.
Okay, I just wanted to show you how well these roads have actually been improving out there in Beach Mountain. Plus, look at how gorgeous it is. Now, I would be mindful parking lots, sidewalks up in the mountains still going to be a bit slick and icy. It's chilly out there, but starting to see that sunshine break through again. Beach Mountain looking like this. A beautiful start to the day now. Look at those roads. These will take you out towards Boone. They look much better than they did around 5 o'clock this morning. Still noticing some light snow flurries. I-77 near Gilead, we do have slow-moving impacts just like we would expect, but those roads are nice and dry. This crash here, it's on Mallard Creek Road there, just north of Medical Plaza Drive. We do still have those delays, especially shown in yellow there, and this is a scene of the active crash. A picture just sent in not too long ago, right there, Mallard Creek Road. Again, a couple emergency responders there on scene. Another one heading south of I-485, but look at those delays. Lots of red coming in. This is South Tryon Street near Steel Creek Road. There's a picture of that. Multiple police officers there, a couple of cars involved in that crash. And then I-77, I was talking about this earlier. It's now just a stalled vehicle on Woodlawn Road at I-77. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here soon.
Thanks. This morning, growing concerns about how new I-77 toll lanes could impact West Charlotte's historically black neighborhoods. Here's a look at a rendering of what some of that would look like. Now city leaders addressing some of those concerns. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live in West Charlotte along the interstate, explaining what's being done to at least start to address this issue. Destiny.
Yeah, there's some city leaders who want to slow or pause this project, but they pretty much maintain there is not much they can do, but they want people to know they're being heard. This meeting last night had some heated public comments, some outbursts, and it pretty much made clear that a lot of people feel this stretch of I-77 is more than just traffic.
Stop the expansion! Stop the expansion! Stop the expansion!
A packed crowd filled city council chambers last night, holding signs demanding city leaders to protect West Charlotte from the I-77 expansion. Dozens of speakers voiced concerns about how the project could impact historically black neighborhoods and local businesses, and whether there's been enough transparency. Councilmember Ed Driggs says when the project was first approved back in 2014, leaders didn't fully realize the level of pushback from the community.
At that time, there wasn't a crowd like here in the room. We didn't sit here and look at people like that and just go ahead and make that vote. We did not actually realize the full scope of opposition to this until those maps went out and everybody, I guess, became aware. So where we are right now is all of us, myself included, are concerned about what we see.
Driggs says the project falls under NCDOT, meaning the city can't overrule it, but it can relay these strong concerns from the community. And while many people want the expansion stopped, some business leaders say it could improve mobility if done with clear protections and accountability. Now, council members did not formally or unanimously add this item to the agenda last night, but they do plan to take up this issue at their council retreat, which is set for next Monday. Live in West Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny thinks at that same meeting, Charlotte city leaders approved more than $4.1 million for the 5 Points Affordable Housing Project. This funding will give historic West End partners a short-term loan to acquire about an acre of land along the Gold Line on West Trade Street. The nonprofit plans to turn that site into a mixed-use development with a large grocery market along with affordable housing.
This morning, the Catawba Ridge High School community is grappling with a serious loss. The York County Sheriff's Office says 18-year-old student Colton Brown died Friday after getting injured while doing yard work at his Fort Mill home. Authorities say the circumstances are still unclear and they're investigating. Grief counselors will be on campus all week to support students and staff. A violent assault in West Charlotte has left a pregnant woman hurt. Police say 23-year-old Devon Whiskey Norgriff hit his girlfriend in the head with a glass bong. He now faces several charges, is being held on a $50,000 bond. A Charlotte man behind bars this morning arrested for an assault at the Carolina Mall in Concord. Police arrested 38-year-old Muhammad Adams after they say he attacked a man with a baseball bat Saturday. Investigators believe it was targeted and the two men knew each other. The victim expected to be okay.
Flags in South Carolina will be at half-staff from sunrise to sunset next Monday to honor South Carolina native and civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson. Governor McMaster made that announcement Monday, noting it's the same day Jackson's body will lie in state at the State House. Jackson died last Tuesday at the age of 84. More details are expected in the coming days about the honoring. Ahead, families hoping for rare disease treatments could finally see some new options. How it comes down to whether science can move fast enough.
There's a recall for nearly 10,000 pounds of Bremer brand fully cooked, ready to eat frozen meatballs. Take a look. The USDA says the product may contain metal, and Rosina Food Products is recalling a 32-ounce bag with the best buy date of October 30th. Those meatballs produced last July and distributed to Aldi stores nationwide, though no injuries have been reported. Consumers urged to not eat them and instead throw them away or return them for a refund.
The FDA is proposing a new pathway to approve treatments for ultra-rare diseases. The plan would make it easier to authorize individualized therapies, especially for conditions with too few patients to run traditional trials. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the guidance would cut red tape and focuses on genome editing and RNA-based treatments. That draft guidance will go through a 60-day public comment period before it can be finalized. We should mention that this Saturday is Rare Disease Day, and 1 in 10 Americans actually have a rare disease.
Something to think about.
For sure. All right, let's talk about ALS now. It's better known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It is one of the most challenging neurological disorders to understand. You may recall actor Eric Dane spoke publicly about how deeply ALS shaped his life prior to his death. While some treatments can slow its progression, there is still no known cure. Researchers say part of the difficulty is that symptoms often appear gradually and inconsistently, making the disease often hard to diagnose early.
Quite honestly, we are yet to completely understand how it comes about, what causes it, what are the drivers. Quite often, the diagnosis takes more than a year or so in the United States, so that diagnostic delay also adds a challenge to this disease.
Scary. Experts say although there's no cure, promising research and newer therapies are helping improve care for ALS patients. According to some research published in the Journal of Neuroscience, bird watching is more than a relaxing hobby. It's a powerful workout for your brain. Studies found that expert birders show greater brain density in areas linked to attention, memory, and visual perception. Now, this reflects neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself as you learn new skills. Identifying birds requires focus, pattern recognition, and quick visual processing. Over time, these mental exercises may help support brain health and sharp thinking as you age. Something else good for you, dancing. One Greenville principal using the power of music and dance to set the tone for the school day. Amarache Uche shows us how the daily playlist is giving students a morning boost.
Before you ask, this isn't a break dancing music video. It's how Pactola's global school principal, Kimberly Lucas, greets students when they arrive at school every day.
It's important that we set the tone for our students when they come in.
Her morning routine is like clockwork. Lucas begins in the hallway with her bus speaker in one hand and both of her dancing shoes on. Even though some students think 7 a.m. is too early to start a party,
sometimes they sleepy and they don't want to be bothered.
Others are all for it. When you come in the morning and you hear the music, how does that make you feel?
Happy and good.
That happiness spreads through the halls with countless greetings, a ton of hugs for Principal Lucas and the teachers, and of course, dancing.
Music is important because the research has shown that it boosts energy and mood.
Lucas kicked off the musical greetings back during testing times in an attempt to calm some nerves and reduce stress. Now the dancing has stuck and it's boosting morale on a daily basis. The teachers are also playing a big part in improving the morning mood at Pactola's global school. They stand at their door to greet students, and whether it's through words of encouragement,
"You crushed it yesterday. You did such a great job. We're going to have a good day today. Give me a high five." That just makes them feel good about themselves, and it also helps them to remember, like, hey, you know what? My teacher notices me.
Or just a smile. They say it's making a change.
We just really want to set the tone for our class for the day, and us standing here has shown that the children feel more confident in starting their day.
From dance battles that were either one-on-one or 11 versus 1, Principal Lucas has learned to accept defeat.
And we just went into a little battle and I lost, and I'm okay with that.
As long as she and her staff can continue making days feel a little brighter, one dance move at a time.
Well, there it is, the historic nor'easter. This was imaged from yesterday. It is now over Nova Scotia. Coming up, we'll talk about the cold start, how the winds behind this have changed the last couple of days, and the warmer changes that are on the way.
Hi, this is Story Sprinkle. Time for our Tuesday Tailwagger along with their friends over at Animal Care and Control. This time last week we featured the happy guy by the name of Silas. And Silas is still there, silently waiting for his forever home. Maybe it'll happen this week. Let's bring on today's Tailwagger. Her name is Clarabelle. What a great name. Clarabelle, believe it or not, is 13 years old, but you would never notice that. Look at her. A couple weeks ago, playing in the snow. That's Clarabelle. She weighs right around 40 pounds. Playful and just a really sweet dog. You would never know. Once again, she's 13 years old. She is a favorite of the whole staff over at Animal Care and Control, which is open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, both days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Remember to spay and neuter. Let's take a look one more time. This is Clarabelle, 13 years old, weighs around 40 pounds, just a great dog. How can you turn that face down? That's Clarabelle. She's our very special Tuesday Tailwagger.
All right, from dogs to buffalo and cows. So check this out. We're talking about Buffalo, New York, of course. Yep, that is a cow. What's it doing right there? Authorities said 3 cows escaped from a livestock trailer that was parked on the shoulder of a throughway. 2 of those cows were caught pretty quickly, but there was always one. There's always one cow of the 3, but one managed to zigzag in and out of the roadway. Eventually, all 3 were wrangled by their owner. State police said there were no injuries or accidents reported. So all happy, and that looks like a bucking bronco right there. It wanted its freedom, but luckily everyone was safe. Meanwhile, we had up to 30 inches of snow. 30 to 36 was the top from this historic nor'easter. So let's put this into rotation. So it's at this point that we were dealing with some of the heaviest snow that was right over Rhode Island and some of the strongest winds that are around the Cape and the islands. This is a monster system. Now you can see the core of this is right over here. The snow that you were seeing over in Buffalo, New York, this is all driven by lake effect snow this time of year. Now that things are starting to thaw out a little bit more, this is really the second coming of the lake effect snow, even though everything's pretty solid, frozen over. Here's some of the snow totals that I last received. Up to 35 inches in Rhode Island. TF Green, the main airport in Rhode Island, over 32 inches there. Providence slammed for their most historic total ever, even beating out the blizzard of 78. And if you know anyone who has lived there from New England, that is the benchmark. That's almost like the Carolinas Hurricane Hugo as far as the most impactful storm. Winds got up to 111 miles per hour with that system. So it definitely still holds the trophy for the strongest winds. I was mentioning that I was going to show you a model that had a much higher chance for rain. And this is the case and scenario that would be actually good for our drought, but it would be a really quick rain. It could even lead to some quick localized flooding. So what will happen is a front's going to move in Thursday regardless. It just depends, is it going to linger for the morning and the afternoon and the evening, or is it briefly going to bring some rain to Charlotte, take a break, and then we see the main arrival heading into your Thursday night and Friday morning. That's what this case and scenario is showing, and it has some much higher rain totals compared to the other scenarios that pretty much have less than an inch. So I wanted to show you this. Check it out. We potentially, by the end of this, if this scenario plays out, tomorrow we're going to have a better idea which one is favored, because we get a lot more of the local, really short-term data. It shows up to 2 inches is going to be a possibility. So right now, the general consensus is less than an inch, but this is a possibility still. All right, I just want to show you one last time our 7-day forecast that I will turn into a 10-day forecast. We have the 60s appearing, back to the 70s. That's the warmest day, and right now trending to be my pick of the week. We will fall back down to the 50s, a freezing point, or at least close to on Tuesday, but a quick recovery. That's this time of year. Always a quick bounce back up to the mid-60s next Wednesday and Thursday. All right, we join Majestic here on the roads. Of course, not in the middle of the road. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, here we go. It's just before 9 o'clock this morning. This is what I-77 looks like out near Clanton. Not seeing any major concerns, but still a busy start to the day. Handful of ongoing wrecks. Let's highlight a few of them. Taking you north of Uptown, this is still ongoing, still not cleared. It's on Mallard Creek Road. I've been following this for about 20 minutes or so. There's that picture of it. A couple emergency responders, they're on scene trying to clear it. I know that cars can still drive around it, but it's going to take you a little longer than it typically would. Then this one here, all of this orange indicating slow moving conditions. South Tryon Street near Steel Creek Road. There's that wreck there. You can see lots of police officers there on scene, and delays are building.
Majestic things. Krispy Kreme has teamed up with Oreo to create 2 new milk-worthy flavors.
Starting today, customers will be able to purchase the Krispy Kreme and Oreo cookie collection. What a combo. For a limited time, the donut chain will offer the new Golden Oreo donut and the Chocolate Oreo Dream Donut. Goodness, look at those. Krispy Kreme says its everyday menu favorite Oreo cookies and cream donut will also be included in the bundle. Krispy Kreme and Oreo Cookie Dozen will feature 3 of each of the Oreo donuts, plus 3 original glazed donuts. Yes to all the above.
I mean, I'm an original glazed girl,
Right,
but I would take a bite.
I like Oreo and I like Krispy Kreme. Sorry, nothing not to like about that.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break right here while you're still thinking about those donuts. But make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. You see her there, the bottom left side of your screen. Our own Jane Montreal is going to take over at the top of the hour from our Impact studio. Continue streaming live here on WCNC Plus.
Right now we're at 29 degrees, clouds filtering in, still 16 around Boone. Hickory, you're at 26 degrees. So that's the name of the game today. Today was the coldest morning of the week, and our highs are getting a little bit better than yesterday, but not by much, honestly. More clouds certainly to end the day, and it's not going to be the clear blue skies that we had yesterday as well. Check out our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. We're back into the 60s tomorrow. I think we will have a little more afternoon sunshine, chance for some snow up in the mountainous areas, and then it's our best chance for rain on Thursday, but I think really it's shaping up to be Thursday night into Friday morning. It's going to be most widespread rain across the Charlotte area. After that, a great weekend to look forward to. 66 on Saturday, 73 on Sunday, another 20-degree drop on Monday, and then a quick recovery back to the mid-60s next Wednesday and Thursday. All right, one last look at traffic with Majestic.
All right, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Chilly start to the day. Grab that big heavy jacket as you're heading out the door. Doesn't matter where you're watching from this morning. There's my map. It's very busy as we're heading out. Still following this crash right here. It's one of our more important ones because we have delays coming in all directions. It's Mallard Creek Road, and there's a look at it, a picture where emergency responders are there still on scene. Cars are still able to get around it, just moving rather slowly. And then this one here on Steel Creek Road.